Good morning, evening, afternoon, everyone. I am Dorm. This is Dorm Streams, and welcome to a special video. So I'm Dorm. I'm a Twitch streamer, and I make stuff on YouTube. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the PS5. You may have just gotten it if you're one of the lucky few to get it on launch, like I am, or maybe you're getting it for a holiday or a birthday, or you're getting it 6 months from now, and you're thinking, you know what? I just got this PS5. What's some cool stuff that it does that I may not know about? That's where I'm here to help. So we're going to be showing off some tips and tricks, maybe some secrets that you may not know about, things you want to know for the PS5, either if you're first getting it on launch day, if you're getting that PlayStation 5 immediately at launch, or if you're getting it 6 months from now. Hopefully these tips and tricks and secrets will help you out. The first tip I want to show off is game presets. Now, this is one of my favorite things about the PS5. So if you open up the settings menu, which I was just on the home page there, if you want to open up the settings in the top right, and you scroll down to save data and game app settings, we're going to be seeing this tab quite a few times, but the one we're going to talk about right now, right off the bat, is game presets. So if you don't know about this, the PS5 will sort of universally set some standard game presets for you if you have this enabled. So, for example, you can set the difficulty you like to play at. I normally just set whatever the game says is the difficulty. That's fine with me, so I leave it at default. You can do performance mode or resolution mode. This is very similar to what the PS4 Pro is doing. Performance is basically frame rate, resolution is basically resolution. So if you don't have a 4K display, highly recommend performance. Otherwise, it's kind of up to you. So I kind of leave it at the default and sort of tweak once I get in there. With Spider-Man, for example, I've jumped back and forth just to see the differences. I like sort of seeing the difference and then writing with whatever I like. So I don't really set a standard for this one. You can also invert your camera if you would like, which I am not a huge fan of. I am not an inverted camera guy, but if you are one of the few last of a dying breed, I think, then you can invert cameras in first and third person. And my favorite part of this is subtitles and audio. You can automatically set subtitles to on. If you're a Twitch streamer like myself, that's amazing because I love having subtitles on for people in chat who may not be able to hear the game super well, or if people have it muted and are lurking, whatever. And I also like just reading subtitles in games. I always have subtitles on, and you can set the language as something different from your console. If you want to set it, for example, say you have a console in Spanish, but you want to see the subtitles in English, then you may be able to do it that way as well. Speaking of in-game audio, so a lot of people know that the PS5 controller, the DualSense here, has a mute button. It's right below the PlayStation button. It's right there. If you click it, that means you're muted and people can't hear you. What you may not know is that if you hold it, if you press and hold it, it mutes the entire game and yourself. So if you're listening to podcasts, or if you just want to, for whatever reason, mute your audio, you get a phone call, whatever, it's a very quick way to do it. I just learned about this today, and I'm very excited about it, just for a number of reasons. I think it's going to be super handy. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the menus of the PS5, as J. Jonah Jameson is ranting here. So a lot of people know that if you just tap the PlayStation button, you pull up sort of the UI, the quick menu, if you will. But what I didn't know until recently is that if you're in a game and you want to go to your big dashboard like we saw at the very beginning, all you have to do is just hold the PlayStation button. That will take you back to the dashboard where you can maybe switch your game or go to the PlayStation Store or whatever. It's a very quick little tip, but super handy, and one that I'm going to have to start putting into my lexicon of how I navigate the menus of the system. Now, since we're talking about that little menu, you can actually customize it quite a bit. So if you press the options button, which you see in the bottom right corner there, customize, you have all these little icons, which are super handy for a bunch of different reasons. We'll dive into some of these in a little bit, but if you want to add different icons or maybe switch some out, you have that option here. So if you don't like seeing game base, which is sort of just like what your friends are doing, what's going on in your communities, you can turn that off. You could also turn on the broadcast function for something like Twitch or YouTube if you're streaming straight from the PS5. You can turn on accessibility options, which is great for a number of different reasons. And you can turn on your network options if you need to quickly set your Wi-Fi, or maybe your Wi-Fi goes out and you want to quickly reconnect. You can have those in the dashboard as well. So once you do that, your bottom menu looks different now. So now I have the network icon, and now I have the accessibility icon, which allows you to invert colors or have color correction, change your text size, do a whole bunch of things just very quickly, including the bevy of accessibility settings on this console to start with. Now, going back to this menu once again, you'll see that there's a bunch of these cards. If you don't know what this is, if you didn't watch the PS5 UI video and see me absolutely geeking out about it on the channel, then these cards are all basically things you can do in a game. So for example, there are these caches in Spider-Man. If I wanted to say, go find all the underground caches in the Upper West Side, then I can see I've done 33% of those. So there's 2 of those left. This is a great way to not only track your progress in a game, but also if you're doing a different game you're in, let's say for example you're in Sackboy, which is a more level-based, you know, level-to-level kind of game, rather than an open world exploration game. Well, I can see that a level that I'm about to play is Seesaws on the Seafloor. Now I'm booting up the game, but I can just hit play and immediately I'm launched into the level specifically. I don't have to go into the main menu. I don't have to go into the UI. I just hit play and we're immediately there. So trophies are also tracked in this, as well as leaderboard things. So for example, I have 90% of this trophy done. I have to stun 30 of the Vex's minions, which are just the enemies in this game. I've only stunned 27 of them. So you can see that trophy progress, which is great for people like me who love hunting trophies. And it tells you exactly what you need to get it, how many you've gotten. It's such a wonderful upgrade. Now, if we go back to the settings icon, we can scroll all the way down here for captures and broadcasts. And you can go down to the trophies section. And now you can set, not only can you save those trophy screenshots, which were an ad in probably midway through the PS4's life cycle, you can have those screenshots, you can keep those going. And you can also save trophy videos if you click this on. So not only will it save a screenshot whenever you get a trophy, it'll save a pretty short little video showing the lead up to and the completion of the trophy, which I think is really cool because a lot of the screenshots, as people have pointed out in my community, of trophies you get from something on PS4 is just like a black screen and the trophy, right? It doesn't really tell you the context of what the trophy is. This does a much better job of that. And if you would like to make that longer than the default, which is 15 seconds, you can make it 30 seconds, which is going to take up a little bit more storage on your system, but it's going to really give you that context. If you upload trophies to something like Twitter or Instagram, then you have a very quick sort of snippet of it's already edited. Here's 30 seconds. Here's how I got this trophy. And it's awesome. Another amazing feature that I have been literally shouting for the past few years of PlayStation is we can finally see our playtime. So if you go over to your profile, you can also get here from the quick menu. I can now go to games and see the exact number of hours I've played in every game I've played, which is absolutely amazing. I am so thrilled about this and cannot tell you how much I've been wanting this feature. As someone who plays a lot of games on Steam, where this feature has existed for a long time, I'm so glad that it's finally on PlayStation, and you can see just how many hours you've put into every game you own, which is just the best. I love it. I love it so much. Actually, a feature I literally just learned about, instead of hitting X and hitting resume here, you can just press square. I just saw that pop up for the first time, so there's a bonus tip. What I was going to show off in Sackboy this time is that 0%. So we've talked about cards a little bit, and this basically says, hey, you've done 0% of this level. It also gives you a time projection where according to me, it'll probably take me about 10 minutes to beat this level. That's because I'm very thorough and slow and I'm bad. But also, if you're having trouble in the game, you can do these tips, which you see that little light bulb with a plus icon. You have to have PlayStation Plus for this. So let's say I'm having trouble getting the first Dreamer Orb, which are just like these sort of mainstays of Sackboy. I can then collect the first Dreamer Orb, and a little video will play showing me exactly where this orb is. You can finally not have to pull out your phone and go to a wiki. I'm still going to use wikis, I'm sure, but this is a much more streamlined way of doing it, and it's just quick, and you don't even feel guilty about it because it's such a baked-in feature that you shouldn't feel bad ever about using a guide, but especially this because it's right there. Okay, so we're playing Sackboy. You can see our little Sackboy watching a butterfly there. But let's say I wanted to play Spider-Man some more. Instead of going to the home menu and clicking Spider-Man, you can go to the switcher, which shows you not only what game you're playing, but also what game you recently played. So say you're in Sackboy and you're like, oh, you know what? I just figured out where that cache would be in Spider-Man, or just figured out where that combat thing would be, or I want to try the stealth mission one more time. You can go to the switcher and boom, you're right back into the game. It's a very fast way of getting from game to game if you do hop around games a lot like I do, and it's just a wonderful little quick menu. It's just right there. You can switch and boom, you're back into the game. Now, if you look at something like the explore page a lot, or maybe you're in a party that shares a lot of screenshots with each other, you may hit a spoiler every now and then in your game. PlayStation has actually sort of worked to combat that. So if we go back down to game and app settings, save data and game app settings here, you can go to spoiler warnings. Now, game developers have to set things as spoilers, but if they have, say you come across a screenshot in your party or in your group or just on the explore page, whatever, PlayStation will flag that as a spoiler, so you don't have to see it, you won't see it. So let's say a character dies in a game, or there's a big villain reveal in a game or something, and you haven't played that game yet, or you're not that far in the game yet, PlayStation will just block that image and say like, hey, make sure you want to see this before you look at it. So let's say you just got your PS5 and you have a bunch of save data on your PS4. You want to continue playing those games on PS4. Maybe it's something like Ghost of Tsushima where it's boosted on PS5 and you haven't finished it. That's me. I did that exact thing. You may think, okay, let me go to my save data and see how to transfer it. It's actually not in this menu, which confused me at first. It's actually in System. So if you go to System Software, Data Transfer, then you can transfer it from your PS4 and it's going to guide you through the steps. Basically, you turn on your PS4. Mine's in my living room, so I'm not going to bother to do it right now. But you turn on your PS4, you turn on your PS5. It'll show you all the save data you have saved, and it'll even show you some of the game data you have saved. Now, I personally had some issues getting the game data to come over to the PS5, but the save data transferred like a charm. So if it's something you quickly want to do, just pull all your save data from your PS4. You don't have to worry about if it's on your PS5, if it's on the cloud, on PlayStation Plus or whatever. You can just pull it right there. You can do it via Wi-Fi or Ethernet, and both of those are going to be faster than downloading it and uploading it and downloading it from the internet. So it's a really quick way to get all of your stuff from your PS4. I'm so glad this is built in because it made it super easy and streamlined. So another way the PS5 is more like Steam, we saw the Playtime thing earlier, is in the store. First of all, the store is just baked in now. It is not an external thing like on PS4 where it would open a different app and take forever. It is now just baked into the dashboard, which is awesome in itself. But another way it's more like Steam is you can add games to your wish list now. So let's say I really like Valhalla, I really like the way it looks, which I do, but I haven't bought it yet, which I haven't. I can add it to my wish list. Now, wish list features will basically show you exactly what you've put on your wish list, if the prices have gone down, etc. So this is actually prompting me, hey, you've added your first thing to your wish list, cool. If we go to the store and you see that little heart there, hi Zion, this will show your wish list. Now, these are the games in our wish list. A really cool thing about the wish list is if you go into notification settings, so these are all the ways you get notifications. And basically, you can go down to your wish list updates, and if there are updates to your wish list, whether that be price or maybe release date, I'm not sure exactly what all falls under wish list updates, you will get notifications just on your system. So you may not even have to worry about it. It's like Steam's, hey, an item on your wish list is on sale notification, except it's on PlayStation, it's baked right in. It's a wonderful way to just set it and forget it, basically. While we're in settings, we can also adjust what the share settings are. So if we go to captures and broadcast, captures, we can change what the shortcuts for the create button are. Now the create button is the button opposite the options button. It's right above the D-pad here. It's a little pill button there. You can see it. So this is the default setting, but you can change whatever these settings do. So if you really like easy screenshots, instead of pressing and holding to take a screenshot, it'll switch it just to, if you press the share menu, it'll take a screenshot. Then you press and hold to show menus. You press twice to save a video clip. Let's see these in action. And let's say in Sackboy, I'm like, oh, my character looks so cute. Let me take a screenshot. So you can press the share button in the settings I have. You can take a screenshot. This is basically a menu. This menu will not appear on your screenshots. It's just a nice little overlay. You can save recent gameplay. So let's say I really liked me launching out of that little level start. I could save the full video of that, up to 60 minutes looks like. Or you can start a new recording from here. You can also adjust things in your capture options. Do you want a JPEG or a PNG? Do you want a WebM or MP4? I want MP4, so I'm actually changing that setting now. Do you want to include your mic's audio? Do you want to include, if you're playing with friends, your party audio? There's a lot of really cool settings. This has become much more fully fledged than last generation, and I just think it's worth noticing, or how many ways the share settings have just changed since then. Okay, more delving in the settings for these last few tips. If you go to your settings, in your system settings, you can go to power saving. Now, a lot of tech devices have a power saving feature. You can set the time until PS5 enters rest mode. I turned off the media playback rest mode because I was watching an episode of Ratchet on Netflix, and it literally stopped 40 minutes in. I don't know if I had just been on the Netflix page for that long to stop it after an hour, after 2 hours, whatever it was set to. So I turned this setting off because I assume if I'm watching media, I'm probably going to keep watching it and then turn the PS5 off. If you're playing games and you're idle, it will turn off after 2 hours. So that's a really cool feature. Say you're playing something, then you get up to make a sandwich. This is the only instant I could think of leaving your PS5 on. You get up to make a sandwich and you come back and you've decided, oh, I'm gonna watch something on my TV or whatever, and you kind of forgot your PS5 was on. Well, this will turn it off automatically. A lot of things do this, but you can also turn on what features are available in rest mode. So you can stay connected to the internet if you want to update stuff or not. You can enable turning on PS5 from your network. So if you have the PlayStation app on your phone, which is a whole new experience, I highly recommend downloading it. You can see when a game has downloaded, for example. If you set a game to download your PS5, it will ping you when it's downloaded on your phone. So you could download a game, go make a sandwich, as said before, come back, and then this is very sandwich heavy content. Come back and then see exactly that your game is downloaded. You can also get party invites from your phone. You can also turn on the PS5 from your phone. You can now wishlist games from your phone. You can buy games and start downloading them from your phone as long as you're connected to the same network, or as long as your PS5 is connected to the network, I think. There are a whole lot of really cool features from the phone, so this would allow a lot of those to work. And also you can turn on your PS5 from Spotify. So let's say for some reason you're just sitting around with your friends and you decide, oh, I want some music, but my TV's just kind of idle, just, you know, sitting there, whatever. You can just quickly turn it on from Spotify if you want to. I don't really see a use of that feature. I have other devices that'll play Spotify in my house. But yeah, I think it's really cool. You can also determine how long you supply power to USB ports, like if you're charging a controller, or maybe you have a hard drive hooked up or whatever. So a lot of really cool features in that. And lastly, we're going to talk about controller settings. Honestly, the controller is one of the coolest parts about the PS5. I absolutely love this controller, and it for me right now is the part that feels most next gen with the haptic feedback and all of that. In that same menu, in power saving menu, you can set the time until the controller turns off. Again, this is if it's idle. But also, if you back out, you can go to accessories here in the settings menu and go to controllers. And from here, you have a lot of different settings. So how loud do you want the controller speaker to be? How intense do you want the vibrations to be? And the trigger effect. So the trigger effect is that sort of haptic feedback thing. It'll stop it or sort of resist you if you're pulling a bow, which is the example everybody uses. If you don't like that, or if you think that could be rough on your hands or rough on your nerves or whatever, you can totally turn that down, and you can turn it all the way off if you don't like either of those things. How much the vibration is going to affect you, how much the trigger effect is going to affect you. You can also add a bunch of different things. Of course, the media remote was for sale. You can do a keyboard and mouse setup if you want to play maybe a shooter on your PS5, which is actually something I might explore with something like Call of Duty. And you can, of course, adjust your camera here as well. So basically, there are a lot of really cool things about the PlayStation. I'm sure there are a number of things I haven't explored yet, or maybe because I don't have, say, the Pulse 3D headset. I know people have talked about a lot of features with that, or some of the other accessories that may come along with PlayStation. I may not know all the features, but for me, as someone who just bought the PlayStation outright, here are a bunch of features that I thought were really useful and handy, and hopefully you do too. Thank you so much for watching. As always, take care of the dorm. I'm gone, and I'll see you next time.